President Biden is a massive problem for Britain. The next time the woke brigade bang on about #BeKind, just remember that they are willing to cruelly wheel out a man in severe cognitive decline just so they can keep pushing their hyper-progressive woke agenda. And they don't care if this leads to World War III. On this show, over the course of the week, we have shown you several clips of Joe Biden being visibly and audibly unfit for office.
Some movement, and I don't want to, well, maybe choose my words.
Yesterday, it emerged that he would not face a jury trial over alleged mishandling of classified documents because he is, quote, an elderly man with a poor memory. This led President Biden to hit back, saying he's perfectly fit for office before mistaking the president of Mexico for the president of Egypt.
You know, initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in. I talked to him. I convinced him to open the gate. My memory is not good. My memory is fine. My memory, take a look at what I've done since I've become president. None of you thought I could pass any of the things I got passed. How'd that happen? You know, I guess I just forgot what was going on.
Earlier, I spoke to a doctor and psychiatrist, Carol Lieberman, and I asked her, in her professional opinion, what her advice would be if she was dealing with an ordinary member of the public exhibiting President Biden's behaviour.
Actually written an open letter to Biden asking him to take a mental competency test, because I do this as an expert witness. I do cases, included in the cases that I do are cases regarding competency, and he certainly would fail. There's no way that he would pass even the baseline, the preliminary mental competency test. And I would then send him to a neurologist and have him be given all kinds of neurological tests, PET scans, CAT scans, lots of cardiovascular tests, because, you know, he had a brain bleed years ago. He had an aneurysm and a brain bleed, and he's on medication now for a cardiac arrhythmia that can cause transient ischemic attacks. So I think Alzheimer's is the most common dementia, and then comes vascular. But I think because of his vascular history, it is important to look into that first.
Last night, an interview was published on X between Russian President Vladimir Putin and journalist Tucker Carlson. He was asked if he was actually spoken to the US president since the start of the Ukraine war.
When was the last time you spoke to Joe Biden?
I cannot remember when I talked to him. I do not remember. We can look it up.
You don't remember?
No. Why? Do I have to remember everything? I said to him then, I believe that you are making a huge mistake of historic proportions by supporting everything that is happening there, in Ukraine, by pushing Russia away.
But you haven't spoken to him since before February of 2022.
President Biden clearly cannot communicate directly anymore with other world leaders. He is simply not capable of dealing with a crisis, and the world is facing a crisis. This is why it matters to us. America leads the West, and the West deserves not to be led by somebody who many people believe has senile dementia. He also clearly despises Britain.
Mr. Biden, a quick word for the BBC.
The BBC, I'm Irish.
Ultra-woke progressives are happy to bring the world to the brink of oblivion, destroy our special relationship and use a husk of a vulnerable elderly man in order to push their ideology onto people. They have no shame, and President Joe has to go.